Well, happy day, everybody. It is recap time here in the Fantasy Football Studios, the office of your commissioner, the fantasy goat. You guys had to know I was going to make a video today. I mean, what an epic come from behind just destruction of Jared's entire season. But I'll get to that here in a little bit. Let's start out with the matchup everybody wants to hear about. Jason absolutely boat racing Steve and smacking Steve right back down into GD contention. Huge matchup next week with Senior, probably the biggest matchup of the year. And that really could determine who the GD is. And I don't like Steve's chances, but we'll get to that in the matchup preview a little later. So basically what this matchup came down to is Jason's team doesn't suck and Steve's team does. That's basically what it is. I mean, DK Metcalf dropped a wide open bomb for a touchdown, which goes to show you, I don't care what kind of shape you're in, how fast, how strong you are. If you suck at football, you suck at football. It's like Steve sucks at fantasy. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that the Patriots obviously cheated against the Cowboys. We all know they cheated. Even the NFL admitted there shouldn't have been tripping calls. There was 2 of them. You can, by the way, over the course of every game over the last 2 years, you know how many tripping calls there's been? 6. And we're talking hundreds of games. The Cowboys get 2 of them called on them, and they're both on huge, crucial third down plays. Come on, man. The rigging of the league for the Patriots has to stop. But I don't even think having it rigged is going to be enough because this Patriots team is trash. They're the worst 10-1 team of all time. They have the look of a 6-5 type of team. They should not be 10-1. The only reason they're 10-1 is because they haven't played anybody except the Ravens. And when they played the Ravens, they got bitch slapped down, much like Steve got bitch slapped down in this matchup. Absolutely brutal. Darren Waller's droppable. You go ahead and cut him. He's useless. Kareem Hunt looks okay. I mean, Tevin Coleman and Kareem Hunt getting 10 points is like an offensive explosion. I mean, how the hell you get 25 points out of one wide receiver and still only finish sub 80? I mean, come on, man. That's awful. So there's Steve getting bitch slapped back down. Reese somehow lost to a guy that doesn't even play. I don't know how that. Reese, you got 42.88 out of Lamar Jackson. You literally got over 50% of your points from Lamar Jackson because the rest of your team is among the worst in the entire league. Reese legit has one of the worst teams in the league. So if he didn't have Lamar Jackson, he'd be right there contending for GD. He's lucky he has Lamar, and I'm actually glad he has Lamar so that Lamar's not on a good team. If you put Lamar on a good team, they'd be winning it this year. There'd be no way around it. Thankfully, he's on a shitty team, so you might not even have to face Lamar in the playoffs as it stands right now. I mean, he's losing to guys like Brad. Come on, man. Ugly. Now, you got Senior pulling out the major W, putting himself on the cusp of breaking out of the GD slot if he can handle business against Steve this week. Huge performance by Chris Godwin, that's going to come back and bite Steve in the ass hard. I mean, how's James Conner doing, by the way? Chris Godwin for James Conner, great trade for Senior, and Senior is primed to kick Steve's ass next week. Joe has Nick Chubb and George Kittle, and that's it. I mean, he knows that that's his team, and he's just praying that that's enough to keep him out of the GD, and it should be. That should be enough to keep him out of the GD. But again, the Summer's Eve douche bowl next week, that'll be huge. Now, you have Vetri, this is a battle of 2 highly overrated teams, Vetri and Junior. Neither one of them has a chance at winning the title this year. 82-81, just two bad teams playing badly. Tony's a lot like Reese with Lamar Jackson. If he didn't have Christian McCaffrey, he'd be right there in GD contention. Luckily for him, he does have McCaffrey, but he still found a way to lose, even with 25 points out of one guy. Now, which was, by the way, 9 more points than any player on John's team. So he had a 9-point advantage over John's highest scoring player and still found a way to lose. If that doesn't speak volumes to how awful the rest of Tony Jr.'s team is, I don't know what does. But, you know, continue not making any moves or doing anything. Vetri, he eked out the win with with one really good free agent pickup at the last minute. Went in and picked up Will Fuller, got a 14 slot out of him. Great job, Vetri. He's probably going to eke his way into the playoffs, and that's just fine by me. I hope I play him. Now, of course, the big win this week. Jared snatches defeat out of the jaws of victory to lose this game. Russell, what am I talking about? I'm talking about Russell Wilson missing a wide open Jacob Hollister in the end zone, throwing it 6 feet over his head. I'm talking about DK Metcalf dropping a 50-yard bomb for a touchdown. I'm talking about Rashad Penny coming in, outplaying Chris Carson. I'm talking about Ryan Griffin catching a touchdown early in the game and then not catching a pass for the rest of the way. You know, Jared got lucky with DeAndre Hopkins on Thursday night, had a busted coverage, like 38-yard touchdown. Otherwise, this thing wouldn't have even been as close as it was. He can complain all he wants about the missed opportunities, but I mean, I got 9 points out of Aaron Rodgers and 6 points out of Saquon Barkley, and I still found a way to kick your ass. So, I mean, I had no Dalvin Cook, no Travis Kelce. Your team was at full strength, and I still beat you because goats are better than weasels. Everybody knows that. Goats eat weasels. That's just a fact. Goats will eat pretty much anything, and they're going to eat this weasel. That's what we're going to do. All Jared's doing, he's in the kitchen cooking up losses to eat. So, and as you can see, Jared's been eating a lot of losses. He's been eating a lot of them. So here's just another one added on. I mean, did you guys know how this story ends? Did you really think Jared was going to beat me? I mean, come on. Jared never beats me. He never beats me. You guys know that. So Jared's back down into the middle of the pack. He's mediocre where he belongs. Mediocre at best, as Richard Sherman would say. And, you know, weasels never prosper. You're never going to make it to the top as a weasel. So there you go. There's the W for me this week. I'm on my way to being the first place team again because Vetri and Junior both have shitty teams. And that's it. So if I don't see you guys, I should be able to get a matchup preview in either tomorrow or maybe early on Thursday. So happy Thanksgiving. And I'll see you guys at the top.